So if you had the magic wand here, let me give you a wand, whatever you want, make like magic powder, and you could go to all of the hundreds of amazing B2B CMOs and other leaders you talk to, and you could eradicate one thing that is always distracting us and annoying us and really making our lives harder. What would it be? What would you take out of this world, whether it's a three-letter acronym or something else? What do you think is bad?
It'd be you mentioned acronyms. I might try to eliminate MQL from our vocabulary.
Love it.
I might decide that if you think about an MQL for most companies is someone that filled out a form. And forms are two things. One, they are arbitrary. They are not a consistent indicator of someone's interest. And two, a form is purely a function of what the seller needs. Like you literally are putting a barrier between your prospect and something they want from you. So the people you want to sell to, you are intentionally keeping them away from what you want them to have because you want them to fill out a form first. And yes, you want to know who they are so you can follow up and your 21-year-old SDRs can call them 6 times a day. I get it. But that is what you want, not what the customer wants. And so if you could say, hey, listen, just like we had to eliminate field events, in Q2 of this year, if I said you can no longer generate leads through forms, like what would you do differently? I think you would see far more customer and prospect friendly marketing programs.
I love it. Okay, so let's dive on that one because that is a contagious, provocative kind of take. Like eliminate forms because it's a selfish view. Now I'm going to summarize it, and of course I'm taking it to an extreme because this time I'm the host. I'm allowed to, right? So, what does it mean? Like, let's say that you are now technology and the standard of customer experience first means no forms. Do you think marketers, B2B marketers, will really take a hit, or will they just have to pivot?
You have to pivot. I mean, it doesn't mean you do anything necessarily different. If you have good content, you still share that. If you have good engagement offers, you still offer that. But you're reducing a barrier in between you and your customers when you do that. You're making it easier for prospects to get what they need more directly. And because our data in many cases is better, we can observe what your prospect is doing. We can observe where they're spending their time and provide the most appropriate next step. Whether that's maybe it is a sales call, maybe it's a consultation, maybe it's another piece of content that fits into the stream of content and research that they're doing on their own. And so I think, if you have good data, if you have data that sits across multiple platforms, then you can make better decisions on what you do with your customer next that is in their favor. So instead of putting barriers between you and your customers, you're actually making it so that they can lean in more so that they can accelerate the velocity of their journey with you.
Love it. So basically what you're saying is if you look at it holistically as making the customer journey, well, great about the customer, not about you. You need to align the foundation, orchestrate the data between it. And there's no reason to put these hurdles in the way of a prospect, a client, a temporary person, whoever it is, no matter what score they are, you can enable them to self-select and say, yes, I want to talk to you. Yeah. But for that, you might need some stuff. Or like what gets in the way of people actually doing that? Is that the fear of data alignment? What is it?
Well, it's a couple things. One, if you don't have a replacement strategy, then it might leave you in a lurch, right? If you don't know how to look at your data and understand customer journeys across systems and have a next step for how to manage that. If you don't have that in place, then if you get rid of leads, maybe you don't, or get rid of those form fills, then maybe you don't have something. Also, I think that, we have taught boards, we have taught CEOs, we've taught leadership teams to really value this lead definition we've been using forever. And they've become enamored with this up and to the right chart that shows them that leads is where it's at. And so I think that there's a culture change that has to happen between what sales is used to getting and what leadership and boards are used to seeing. That it is not going to be an overnight change, but I'm seeing more and more companies over the last year and a half, like rip out their forms, right? Like literally like rip out those barriers, eliminate the MQL from the conversation. And, there's some rough waters when you first do that. But it's a path to far better alignment between sales and marketing and far better journeys and conversations with the prospects that you want to engage.
I love it. I think it's if you look at the strategy and you start with that saying, we want sales and marketing and eventually customer success 80% or 100% focus on these target ICPs and slice it into one to many, one to few, and so forth. One tactic is, okay, who cares about leads anymore? It's about engaged accounts, right? And then to do that, well, then secondary is we can eliminate all of these hurdles and we just want to aggregate the data. So that's changing the tactics. I love it. I think it's great. I have eliminated the terminology of leads from any company I work with. I want salespeople to focus only on accounts. Why bother with leads? Look at something that's more important to you. And so I agree with you completely.